Hello, welcome to the GeoTracker Volumetric Annual Report training. This training is being recorded and you will be able to access this from our website at any time. If you have any questions during this webinar, please send your questions to recycledwater@waterboards.ca.gov. If you can, in the subject of the email, please note that this is a webinar question and as needed, include the slide number. Thanks for your participation. Today's presenters will be Stephen Mullery, Engineering Geologist of the State Water Resources Control Board of the GeoTracker Help Desk, and Rebecca Greenwood, Engineering Geologist from State Water Resources Control Board from the Recycled Water Desalination and CECs unit. If you have any questions again, please send them to recycledwater@waterboards.ca.gov. So my name is Rebecca Greenwood, and as I mentioned, I'm an engineering geologist with the Recycled Water Unit at the State Water Board at the Division of Water Quality. And today, my presentation will discuss the recycled water policy implementation of the volumetric annual reporting in GeoTracker. If you have any questions, please email recycledwater@waterboards.ca.gov. Today's presentation will go over the recycled water policy implementation, a little bit about the background and how this shaped up and what we're doing to implement the requirements of the volumetric annual reporting. GeoTracker, what is it and what resources are available to you? The volumetric annual report itself, an overview of what the report looks like and some features in GeoTracker that the module has to help you along in the report. And then finally, the next steps, planning for the future and looking ahead and answering any questions that you may have from this presentation. So how did we get here? In 2016, the Water Board issued resolution to support an update to the recycled water policy, which among other things included that staff develop a proposal for an efficient statewide reporting system and data management program that would allow for online reporting of volume, quality, and uses of recycled water. So the staff worked on that, and the recycled water policy was updated in December of 2018. The policy includes annual reporting requirements for the volume of wastewater and recycled water across the state of California. The policy also included some goals for recycled water use. So since adoption, I wanted to highlight some key points of implementation for the volumetric reporting requirement. We completed a data dive to identify facilities that would require the reporting and issued a general notification to provide a heads up to these dischargers that these requirements would be coming their way. And then the State Water Board Executive Director issued orders to implement the requirements into the monitoring and reporting programs of the identified facilities. Additionally, in January, there was an update to that order, and some of the facilities that were missed were added, and some of the facilities that received the order incorrectly were removed. So as I mentioned on the previous slide, the update to the recycled water policy included some goals, and these goals include to increase the volume of recycled water used to at least 2.5 million acre-feet a year in the next decade, to reuse all dry weather discharge to enclosed bays, estuaries, and coastal lagoons and ocean waters, and to maximize recycled water reuse where groundwater supplies are in a state of overdraft. The issue is that until recently, we did not have an accurate way to see if we were on track to meet these goals. So you might be thinking that 2.5 million acre-feet a year is a very large number. How close are we to that? Well, previously, in 2009 and 2015, the State Water Board and Department of Water Resources conducted surveys to answer the question of how much water is recycled and produced and used in California. However, these surveys were fairly infrequent and labor intensive, and they didn't really answer the second question of how much water could be recycled in the future. The water boards recognize the importance of recycled water as a critical water supply for California and an important resource in improving our water resilience. The State Water Board will evaluate the feasibility of our current recycled water goals and track progress towards those goals through data generated in the Volumetric Annual Report. So to make tracking consistent and electronic, we started with an evaluation of systems to make this reporting happen. We began to move forward with the development of the annual volumetric reporting module in GeoTracker in November of 2019. The module started to take shape, and we began testing the system in February of 2020, and the system was released to production in March of 2020. The first set of reports for the 2019 calendar year data will be due April 30th, 2020. If your agency has been impacted by COVID-19 and requests more time, please contact us via email and we will work with you to find a solution. So GeoTracker, what is it? Ultimately, it's a state water board database with a Geographic Information System, or GIS, online interface to access environmental data. The Volumetric Reporting Module is an expansion of the Electronic Submittal of Information, or ESI, portion of GeoTracker, which my colleague Stephen will discuss in a few minutes, but before that, I would like to point out some resources available currently. We have developed help guides to assist in account creation and how to claim a facility with a global identification number in GeoTracker. A global identification number, or global ID, is a unique facility identifier which is unique to your facility. We have also provided a walkthrough of the report, which is a step-by-step guide of how to complete the report, and a frequently asked questions, or an FAQ fact sheet, to help answer commonly asked questions that we receive. All of these resources are available at our website at waterboards.ca.gov/recycled water policy. The State Water Board also issued a letter to notify facilities that the module was live. This letter contained the facility name as it should be listed in GeoTracker and the global identification number. So the example that's highlighted on the screen is an example facility with the name of how it would be listed in GeoTracker, and the bottom of the address block shows the global identification number, or global ID. If you need assistance at any time, you can contact any one of these State Water Board emails. And if you need assistance creating an account, which Stephen will go over in a couple seconds, you can email geotracker@waterboards.ca.gov. For the assistance with the volumetric end report, you can email recycledwater@waterboards.ca.gov or call myself at my desk line, which is listed in this presentation. Again, the help guides and additional resources can be found at our Recycled Water Policy webpage, which is at waterboards.ca.gov/recycled water policy. And with that, I will pass control over to Stephen of the GeoTracker Help Desk at the State Water Board, and he will go over how to create a GeoTracker account and how to gain access to your facility to complete this reporting.
Thank you, Rebecca. Hi, everyone. I'm Stephen Mullery, and I work with the GeoTracker Help Desk at the State Water Resources Control Board. For my presentation, I'll briefly go over how you can get set up on GeoTracker so you can start reporting. Next slide. All right, so what is GeoTracker? Like Rebecca mentioned a little bit earlier, GeoTracker is the data management system that was developed in 2000 to track sites that impact or have the potential to impact water quality in California. Most of the data in GeoTracker is related to groundwater, and we receive this data from about 15 different facility types. To the right, you'll see a diagram of how data is collected from the different facility types. Then through a variety of tools or reports, this will allow the interested parties to review the data. Next slide. There are three groups of users that utilize GeoTracker. First are regulators that use GeoTracker to keep track of facility or activities at a facility, have a storage area for electronic documents and data for their sites, and have a quick way to compile files for public record requests. Next, we have regulated parties who use GeoTracker primarily for submitting data and reports to the Water Board. The portal for this upload process is also known as GeoTracker Electronic Submittal of Information, or GeoTracker ESI for short. Finally, the public has their own portal where they can access the data on GeoTracker. Common uses of this public data are for environmental disclosure reports and for private research. For our presentation today, we will focus on the GeoTracker ESI portal as highlighted on this slide. Just for clarification purposes, we will only go over one tool during this presentation. You may see other tools in our screenshots. However, since they're not relevant to the volumetric annual report, we will not discuss them today. If you have any questions about your reporting requirements, please contact your local regulator. For any general GeoTracker ESI questions, feel free to contact the GeoTracker Help Desk. Next slide. All right, so now how does it get started? You'll need to create an ESI account. To do this, go to the GeoTracker ESI login page and click on the password request link, which is highlighted in red. Next, enter your email address and you should be sent to an electronic form as you see now. Fill out the form and then click on submit. You should receive an email from GeoTracker which prompts you to click on a link to verify your email address. Click on the link and you should be sent back to the login page where you can then log in using the username and password you provided on the electronic form. Next slide. So when you're completing the electronic form, you'll be asked what account type you want. There are 4 account types available: responsible party, authorized RP agent, contractor, and laboratory. For this presentation, I will only cover 2 of these account types. First account type is responsible party, or RP, which represents anyone who is affiliated with the facility. The individual's job title within the agency does not matter. For example, if the city is listed as a permittee and you work for the city, you will sign up for a responsible party account. Please note that this is different from the account types in California Integrated Water Quality System, or CWICS database, which I believe some of you are currently using to report influent and effluent data for their facility. Next slide. All right. Account type authorized responsible party, or RP agent, is for consultants, contractors, and labs only. The option is available for them if the agency or permittee does not plan to use GeoTracker and hire a third party to do the electronic reporting. Next slide. So here's some common questions that are related to their account. How can I update or check my account information, such as username, agency name, or email address? Feel free to contact the GeoTracker Help Desk and we can provide this information. Will my password expire over a set period of time? Accounts and passwords do not expire. That said, passwords can change if the user manually resets their password. Where can I reset my password? Go to the GeoTracker ESI login page and click on the email link. There's not an option to reset the password within your account. Next slide. Can my coworkers use my account? Yes, you can share your account with other individuals in your agency. If I change agencies, can I still use my existing account? No, please create a new account. Your existing account will be linked to a facility that will likely not be related to your new agency. Also, we would like to retain the existing account for report tracking purposes. Next slide. All right, so after you log into your account, you'll need to submit a request to the GeoTracker Help Desk for access to a specific facility. And this is how you can do this process. First, you will go to the facility management section, and then you will click on the request additional facilities as shown right now. Next slide. All right, next you will search for your facility by entering either the Globe ID, facility name, or facility address. As Rebecca mentioned earlier, a Globe ID is a unique identifier for your facility in the GeoTracker database. And this Globe ID is listed on the reporting module release letter. So after entering the information, click on Search. In the search results, locate your facility, click on the checkbox to select the facility, and then click the Request Check Facilities button. Next slide. A message will appear as seen on the top of the slide. You should notice that your facility will be placed under pending facilities. The number next to pending facilities shows the number of facilities listed under that category. Please note it may take up to 1 to 3 business days for requests to be processed by the GeoTracker Help Desk. Once approved, the facility will be listed under associated facilities. For authorized RP agent users, you will be prompted to upload an authorization form. This message on the top of the slide has 2 links for you to access this form. Please follow the next steps to upload the form. Next slide. Again, for authorized RP agents users only, click on the Upload Auth RP Form link under the Facility Management section. Your facility should already be listed in the middle of the page. Just select the checkbox and then click on Continue to Upload Auth RP Form button. You would then be sent to a page prompting you to upload a PDF copy of the form. Next slide. And here are some general questions about requesting access to a facility versus what is a Globe ID. Again, a Globe ID is a unique identifier for your facility in the GeoTracker database. Who receives my access request? Access requests from RP or authorized RP agent accounts are sent to the GeoTracker Help Desk. Please contact the Help Desk directly if you have any questions. What is claiming a facility? Claiming a facility is when an RP or authorized RP agent has been approved by the GeoTracker Help Desk to start submitting reports under a facility record. Next slide. Do I need to request access to my facility annually? No, you only need to do this once for each facility. The access is permanent unless the agency submits a request to the GeoTracker Help Desk to remove the access. Can I transfer my associated facilities to another account? Yes, if the other account is with the same agency, feel free to contact the GeoTracker Help Desk and we can assist with this transfer process. Next slide. I'm unable to find my facility on the Request Additional Facilities page. So here's a variety of tips you can try. First, verify that a facility is not listed under Associated Facilities, Pending Facilities, or Denied Facilities. If it's listed under one of these categories, it will not appear under Request Additional Facilities. Next, the less fields you enter in the search boxes, it increases the odds of the facility showing up. The system is somewhat picky, so if something you enter does not exactly match what the facility record has, it will not appear in the search results. Also, always try to search by the Globe ID if possible. It is the most reliable way to find your facility. And if you're searching by the Globe ID, try entering the last 5 digits. You may see other sites appear in the search results, but it will not be a very long list to look through. Other than that, feel free to contact the GeoTracker Help Desk. And also, how do I know when I'm approved? The requested facility will be listed under your associated facilities, which is found under the Facility Management section. Next slide. What if my request was denied? Check your email. The GeoTracker Help Desk will contact you by email and explain why your request was denied. And finally, what is an authorization form? Why do contractors, consultants, or labs need to submit it to the water board? An authorization form is a formal document that states that the outside party will be completing the electronic reporting on behalf of the permittee or agency. This form is retained in GeoTracker for our records. Next slide. All right, so once you see your facility listed under Associated Facilities, you can now start reporting. Go to the Tools section, click on Other Tools, and then finally click on Submit Annual Volumetric Water Data, or NPDES/WDR. Next slide. Once you do that, you should see your facility listed in the middle of the page along with 2 options to report the 2019 data and the 2020 data. Please note the 2020 report is currently locked for editing, and you should just enter the 2019 data at this time. Also, this page shows the status of the report. Red indicates the report has not been started. Yellow indicates the report has been started but not submitted. And green indicates the report has been submitted. Next slide. So here's some general FAQs for the volumetric annual report. First is, I have access to my facility but I do not see my report. Contact either the GeoTracker help desk or the recycled water help desk, and we can look into this further. Can I generate a PDF of the completed report? It is not available during this reporting period, but we'll look into having this feature in the future. What internet browser can I use to complete the report? Any internet browser is fine. Please note that some issues have been brought up related to Internet Explorer. However, these issues have been resolved. Next slide. And finally, here's some contact information if you have any general questions about the GeoTracker system. And now I would turn it over to Rebecca Greenwood so she can cover the details of the volumetric annual report.
Thank you, Stephen. Again, if you have any questions about the portion that Stephen just presented, please contact any of the contacts on this page or the GeoTracker help desk to have any questions answered. So as Stephen just talked about, once you get linked up to your facility, you'll be able to log into GeoTracker ESI and then select other tools and select Submit Annual Volumetric Data. So for the rest of this presentation, I will go over the volumetric annual report itself. The order that I mentioned previously requires the reporting of volumetric data for the influent, what's coming into your facility, production, what level of treatment are you giving that water, discharge, where is that water going, and if applicable, recycled water use. The data is requested to be reported annually with each category at a monthly frequency with the exception of the reuse category. The different types of facilities will be displayed different questions based on if the plant is currently producing recycled water with Title 22 standards. The table on this slide shows the different types of facilities and what would be required to report in the volumetric annual report. The first section of the report is used to determine which monthly reporting questions will be displayed for the report. I will go through each of these scenarios in the following slides and reiterate the questions that are asked in the report. So this is a screenshot of the first question in section 1 of the report to determine which monthly reporting questions will be offered to the facilities. Question 1 asks if the facility is producing recycled water consistent with Title 22 standards. If the facility answers no to this question, they are classified as a wastewater treatment plant only and will not be asked questions about recycled water. The second scenario is that if you are producing water consistent with Title 22, you will be asked a follow-up question that is displayed to ask if the facility is solely a recycled water treatment plant. If the facility answers no to this question, it is classified as a wastewater treatment plant with recycled water capabilities, but is treating raw influent sewage. The third facility classification is if you answer yes, that you are solely a water recycling treatment plant, then you are classified as a water recycling treatment plant and you are not treating raw influent sewage, rather sourcing your water from different places to treat to a Title 22 standard. So once section 1 is complete, the months will display for entering the volumetric data. Each month is displayed towards the left edge of the screen, and the next column is a status. That status will either say incomplete in red or complete in green, depending on if that month has been entered yet. To begin entering data for the month that you wish, please select the link that says Add Volumetric Data to the right, highlighted in red, and it will bring you to the next screen. This is a screenshot of the report for entering monthly volumetric data. What I would like to point out here is that the system has some quantitative checks on this. So while we aren't trying to count every drop of water, we do want to see that the numbers make sense. So for example, if you enter an influent volume and it is not within 10% of your effluent volume, it will require an explanation. We would also like to remind you that when entering volumes, please just use 2 decimal places. The volume is required to be reported in units of acre-feet, which is per the recycled water policy. We have provided guidance on how to convert the average gallons per day to acre-feet per month. We initially intended that there be a calculator in the report, but we were not able to complete that at this time, but hopefully it will be a feature of the report in the future. If you have any questions on unit conversion, please feel free to contact us. Explanations. So each of the reports may require some explanation in certain pieces of the monthly reporting. Each volume will be required to have a qualifier to show if that number is metered or estimated. We understand that not a lot of facilities have meters, and that's okay. We will accept estimates if an explanation is provided. This is shown in the highlighted red circle on your screen. So if you are metering, you could go ahead and select metered, but if you are estimating, you could go ahead and enter in your explanation. Your estimation could be off of pump hours run. You could be trying to explain that you essentially treat everything that comes into your plant and then it's discharged, but you have a meter on your discharge. So you assume that everything that is coming into the plant is treated. So that number may be the same. Just provide an explanation that's able to be understood and will help us figure out how you estimate that number. We have also included the treatment and discharge distribution definitions on this reporting screen, which can be accessed through the hyperlinked words here on this screen highlighted in red to your right. These definitions can also be accessed in the help guide in the definition section towards the end of the help guide. If a facility is discharging or distributing or treating to multiple levels, you could use the plus button that's highlighted in red to the left of this slide to add multiple treatment levels. So if you are treating to a secondary treatment that's sent to an inland surface water, but you're also treating to a recycled water standard that's going to a recycled water use, you would be able to add that as well. You could add as many treatment levels and discharge locations as you need. So as I mentioned before, the report adjusts based on the facility classification questions. So a facility with no recycled water would see the options displayed here on this screen within the monthly reporting screens. The treatment levels would be primary, secondary, or tertiary treatment, and the discharge categories would be inland surface waters, enclosed bays, estuaries, coastal lagoons, and ocean waters, natural systems, underground injection wells, land, and finally, the last one that I would like to highlight here is recycled water producer. If a wastewater treatment plant is treating water and then providing that water to another facility for further treatment, they can select recycled water producer. Then they can enter the name of the facility that they are sending the water to and the amount of water that was given to that facility. This category should help us start to identify the relationships between facilities in the future. As I mentioned before, if you need clarification on these categories, they are defined in the hyperlinks on the report or in the back of the help guide. Similar to the previous slide, A recycled water producer or wastewater treatment plant with recycled water capabilities would see these options in their monthly reporting. They have additional options for Title 22 treatment levels and all of the same categories that I mentioned previously, with one addition of recycled water use. The facility will select the recycled water use category if the water they are producing for that month will go to a recycled water use. All of those recycled water use selections for the year are totaled up in Section 3 of the annual report, and they will be given specific uses for that water for the year in Section 3. So you will break down the specific categories that that water went to across the year. Again, I would like to reiterate that while we aren't trying to count every drop of water, we want to see that all of these numbers make sense. So please just take an extra little bit of time to effort that all of your numbers are correct. And if you do end up having to be providing an explanation for why your total effluent is not within 10% of your influent, provide an explanation that would help us understand why we have some water missing or why we're a little bit over. You are, again, allowed to enter these in these boxes, which will pop up in the bottom, but it will not allow you to continue until you have provided an explanation for that percentage discrepancy. This is a screenshot of Section 3 of the volumetric annual report, and this section, again, only applies to people who are producing Title 22 recycled water. This section of this report will look at all of those categories that you selected for recycled water use that I mentioned in the previous slides. It will total them all up in a table, which you can see on this screen, and the total will be displayed to your right, which is highlighted in red as a total yearly volume. We have also provided the reuse category definitions on this slide, which can be accessed through the hyperlink or, again, in the help guide in the definition section. There is a similar quantitative check on this portion of the reporting, in which that the total number of recycled water use categories will need to match all of the numbers for the total year that you dictated went to recycled water use. So these numbers will have to be exactly the same. Again, we are not trying to count every drop of water, so please make sure that these numbers make sense with what you entered in your monthly reporting. All of the categories, again, are listed below, and if you have any questions on any of them, the definitions are on the page. We also have options for other non-potable uses or other potable uses, where you will be able to enter in what those other uses are. So finally, once you have completed all of the sections that are required for you in the annual report, you will see that all of the statuses in those columns light up green, and you can submit the report. To certify and submit the report, you will have to select the checkbox to say that you agree with the certification statement and then hit Save and Submit. If at any time you need to make changes to your submitted report, you can use the Unsubmit form hyperlink to make any changes. You can go through then all of the months and edit anything that you need, making sure that all of those numbers, again, are good to go. If you do make any changes, you will need to resubmit the form after those changes are made. And again, hit the Certify and Save button to submit the report. This concludes our presentation for today. If you have any questions, please email recycledwater@waterboards.ca.gov. And here's my contact information as well, along with the resources that can be accessed via the internet in the box below. Thank you again for your participation, and have a great day.